What's up, guys? This is what episode are we on now? 5?
I think 4 or 5, yeah.
All right. We're on episode, I think 4 or 5. I'm pretty sure it's 5. It's definitely 5.
Whatever it is.
What's up, y'all? So it's funny that we're actually like almost exclusively talking about electric cars today.
Yeah, it's
I've been
it's kind
trying
of
to
odd.
avoid that, but when all the new things being announced and all of the best news is on the forefront of electric cars, it's kind of inevitable.
Yeah, and the 5 front's not looking that bad either.
I can get you a 6 front if you want.
Hell yeah.
God. All right.
It's
let's
starting.
let's jump right into it. Let's talk about
Let's get right into the news. I just heard some guy go,
I'm Killer Keemstar. Let's get right into the news.
into the nose.
News.
Hee hee.
Oh, God. All right. So let's talk about the ripoff of Tesla, aka every electric car ever. More specifically, Geely's Zeekr cars. So, one, it is worth noting that this company owns Volvo and Lotus. So I do kind of have my hopes up that maybe something good will come from this.
You do have to remember, though, they did also buy Saab, and then it completely failed.
To be fair, GM killed Saab before they got rid of
I thought you were
Saab.
about to say, just to be fair, it was Saab.
You know what? Hey, Kenny, if you're watching this, fuck Saab.
And you just made all of a Facebook group hate you.
I say that, but some of the cars I've geeked out over the most seeing randomly have been 9.5 and 9.3 Aero wagons.
What about the 94Xs, though?
They're just rare. They suck.
I know.
The
Didn't say were they good.
97X is rare, too.
I've seen, there's one down here with a Corvette motor swap.
Why? Why would they do that to a rarer car? Why not just rip up a Trailblazer for that?
Well, no, to be fair, they did offer it with that. That was the Aero model, was the Corvette motor. This one just wasn't that.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
But they put a supercharged LS in it. And it's like 600 horsepower in a Saab.
I'm gonna need you to translate that to llama thrust for me.
Damn, you right.
How many ants is that?
All of them.
Is this where the song from Rent starts playing? 525,000, whatever the number is.
600 ants.
Ants.
Fuck.
My friend. Ant posting.
Real ant hours.
Real ant hours. We do it.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So back to Geely Zeekr.
Yes.
So before we actually get into that, the name bothers me, Zeekr.
Yeah.
Just
They've
because,
never
like,
been great with naming.
But I will say, because of the fact that they own Volvo and Lotus, I do have my hopes up that we might see some cooler stuff. Because I'm not going to pronounce it right. The Avija?
Yeah, the Avia.
It is Avia? Okay. Like, that's a thing.
Yeah.
And that's really cool.
That is a monster of a car.
And
I doubt I'll ever see one.
And the fact that Polestars are now electrics.
Yeah.
And they are beautiful vehicles, and they're actually like, they sort of fly under the radar. They're not really on the forefront of anything talking about EVs.
You might be a little close to the microphone because everything's kind of coming out.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, how about that?
There you go.
Okay. I'm still learning. This setup is mostly brand new.
Meanwhile, me just using my laptop microphone.
Well, my laptop microphone is that of a peanut. So
that's mine. What's your point?
Yours is significantly better. Mine sounds like but you know.
Congrats, you just started playing Bad to the Bone.
All right. Speaking of Bad to the Bone, I need you to shut the fuck up.
Same.
So is there anything like, have they said too much about Zeekr, or just that they're trying to compete with Tesla?
So I haven't actually heard tons. I know that they had said they obviously want to compete.
Right. It says that
and
they're focusing right now on China, which
right,
makes
which makes
sense
sense.
because it
That's
is
the only place they sell them,
exactly
pretty
for now.
much.
But they do want
That,
overseas options.
yeah, exactly. But I have not actually heard tons about it, other than that, just based on how it looks alone, that Tesla might have an issue with it.
Right.
Shocking, I know. It's literally a clone of the Cybertruck, but a little better looking.
Right. I was more looking at like their. y- Have you seen the Zero concept?
I think so. Let me look it up
Here,
real
I'll
quick.
I'll share it.
Okay.
This, because like I'm
Oh
gonna be
yeah, yeah,
real.
yeah.
I think it looks better than a Tesla.
So the thing about that,
Mm-hmm.
they already make that technically.
Yeah.
It's the Link and Co. vehicle,
Okay.
which is the same company that works with Volvo and Project Cyan and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like, let me see if I'm right about it, because I'm pretty sure that's what the Link and Co. vehicle looks like.
Well, this is the Link and Co. Concept.
Oh, okay, that would explain
It
it
said it
then.
would be based on this.
Yeah, because this is the O3.
Mm-hmm.
They have
And
a
I'll be
very distinctive look.
and I'll be honest. If it's based off this and it looks similar to this, I would
Oh
like
yeah,
I would like the appearance better. Now,
like that looks almost production ready.
right now, the issue being, of course, that we don't know any stats about anything they're going to be making. Just that their first model is going to be based off of this.
Yeah,
Now, what do you think it would take for them to compete in America with Tesla?
I would say proving reliability, but it doesn't seem like it matters, because I mean Tesla's not that reliable and people love it. I think it
Right.
just comes from an image standpoint
I
of,
think
oh, it's a Chinese car and people are not going to want it, even though
right.
it's the same problem that generally it seems like Hyundai and Kia face, where it's like, well, it's still Hyundai,
Right.
where it doesn't
Because
matter how
yeah,
much they
that's what I was
improve.
gonna bring up too. Is that you're gonna get a lot of people who won't buy it just for that reason.
But I
I think
mean, I
the
remember when
other
they
no good.
I remember when they released the Lincoln Co. Cyan.
That looks so good.
It's front wheel drive, but it's 530 horsepower. And it proved itself as a race car, and it just didn't end up making it to the US.
Yeah, because I think the other big thing is that Tesla, just in the nature of the owner or the
Yeah,
creator, like Elon is part of the reason Tesla got so much hype.
yeah.
And
He,
if
he
I'm
kind of
being
backed it
honest,
more than anything.
like Geely would need something like that in
Yeah,
order to get that kind of a foothold that
they pretty
quickly.
much need a hype man.
Now, I could see this taking off in other countries that aren't as stupid as America,
Oh, agreed. I could see
but
this as like a very stereotypical vehicle in the UK,
right.
in various parts of Europe, stuff like that. It would make sense. It's a good looking car, and it
And in a
realistically could
city,
be.
it's all you'd ever
Exactly.
need,
Exactly.
especially when they start making bigger models, then you get a lot of EVs that can do a lot of different things.
Yeah. Covers all the bases.
And when you're talking more when you're talking a country that you could drive across it on a tank of gas,
Exactly.
this becomes super practical because how often are you going to actually need something else?
Exactly. I mean, like, you got to think that car would fit in.
And they're marketing luxury. So
Yeah.
we're already talking money here.
Like that could easily fit in on a US road. I could see that. I'm
Oh yeah.
starting to see the Mach E's showing up
I know.
at
I
different times.
I went from not seeing any to my boss sending me a picture, and within 20 minutes of me getting that picture, I saw one myself.
Yeah, I've seen like 5 or 6 in the past 3 days. It's
Now,
ridiculous.
just to go aside a little bit, what's your favorite color you've seen?
I've only seen 3 colors: white, dark gray, and red.
I saw the blue, like the
The
blue,
electric blue.
by far my favorite color.
I mean, yeah, there's a reason they used that as the debut color.
It's it just screams Mustang from the get go,
Exactly.
and like it also screams it from the sheets. um, I had to do it to him.
See, I thought you were gonna say.
Those kinds of reactions are just gonna fuel this, and I'll keep pumping them into the conversation.
See, I thought you were gonna say it right from the get-go, and also from the general. For a great low rate, you can see one time go to the general.
For the great home great, you can save online. Go to the time and save some gen.
Yes, that.
Nice. But anyway, so do you think? I guess we'll finish off with the Zeekr with this. Do you think we're gonna see it in America?
At some point in the future, I do. I genuinely see this within the next maybe 10 years. I could see this being a thing.
So I see them potentially doing like I don't want to say like what Hyundai does with or Honda does with Acura.
Hmm.
I think we're gonna see the opposite. Where we're gonna see this, it's gonna be like how the Hummer's coming back as a GMC. I think
Hmm.
we'll see one of these models come in as a Lotus, or
I
come
could
in
see
as
that.
a Volvo.
I could see it more as Volvo than Lotus, even though I
Right. Unless
know
they make a
Lotus
sports
is.
car.
But Lotus said they're completely revamping their lineup.
Right. I don't think they'd revamp it to. They're not geared to luxury. They're geared to sports cars.
But I'm looking at what it's saying about this car. I mean, it's saying the car's 3,200 British pounds or euros. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's a steal.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's so what it has going for it is the fact that there will be a budget electric car. That's what's needed to get a foothold in the market. Because the only ones that did it were crappy. We need someone to do it right.
Exactly.
GM failed.
Really.
GM really failed having a cheap EV. What's the
Yeah.
cheapest one now? Is it the 3?
I think so. Yeah.
Cheapest full EV has to. I would think it's the 3 at
It's,
right around 30. I'm
it's
talking
either
base model.
it's either the 3 or the Chevy Bolt.
Oh, it could be the Bolt. It also could be the Clarity.
I thought that was still a plug-in hybrid though.
Oh, I was thinking of the fuel cell too.
Oh
Not
yeah.
not full electric. The fuel cell's only Cali anyway.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
mean, technically, if you want to be really specific, the cheapest electric, they don't make it anymore. They had the 500e and the electric Chevy
that's true.
Spark.
Well, yeah, I'm talking now
Yeah,
because
but now
the
it's
the
probably
the
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 Bolt.
Spark failed.
Yeah, very sadly, actually.
Unfortunately, yeah, it failed because they appealed to the cheap market, but they didn't give something worth even the cheap money.
Yeah, I mean, it had a range of what, 80 miles an hour? Oh, 80 miles,
Yeah, that's
something like that.
if
It,
someone's
it made
buying
it
an EV,
useless.
they want practical.
Yeah,
That's
they
not
made it
practical,
useless.
pretty much. Yeah, I mean, granted, it's an. Oh wait, I can stop sharing my screen now that we're about the. Well, I mean, we're still talking about the Zeekr, so that's fine.
Right.
But
I did see,
but
though, Tesla did announce they're going to start making what they call the Model 2. And it is $24,000, they said.
we're getting closer to budget.
Yeah, it's
It's a
still it.
start.
The Photoshop of what it looked like someone took a Model 3, raised the roof, lowered the car, and just like crushed it
Raise
in a
the
little.
roof.
It literally looks like they took the like Toyota Yaris and put a Tesla front end, and that's it.
I want to see this. Oh, you are completely right on that
It's
description.
real weird looking.
It looks like someone took. Do you remember? I need to find what these are called. They were called. Do you remember Fat Boys?
I think so. It's very familiar.
All right, I'm about to unlock a memory you forgot about.
Oh, no.
Remember Fat Boys?
Oh yeah.
It reminds me of a Fat Boys Kazashi.
Yep, that's a pretty accurate way to describe that.
Like that looks like a Fat Boys Kazashi.
Yeah, exactly. It
I'm
doesn't
not
look
saying that
good.
like it's a terrible thing, but it looks so funky.
Yeah, it looks cheaply made, but it also looks like just a bad Photoshop.
Wait, you mean Tesla is cheaply making something?
I know, it's hard to imagine, isn't it?
I went into a mall and there were two Gap stores. One was for clothing and one was for Tesla panels. Like,
Wow, that was a good one, actually.
it's true though,
Oh, I completely agree.
because that was right when the Model 3 was getting big. And good
Like,
lord,
people complain about the panel gaps on the Maserati Ghibli, and then they buy a Tesla.
Moses was just parting the fender and the hood.
Didn't even have to part it; it was already separated.
No, he parted it on the assembly line.
No, he parted the bumper from the frame when it came off in the rain.
Bro, you right. But anyway, speaking of Tesla, let's move on to their touchscreen shifter. So this might be an unpopular opinion, and I think you at least mostly agree with me. I don't really see an issue because, especially with neutral, right?
hmm
Um, how often in an EV are you putting it in neutral?
I think I actually made that comment online.
Yep.
Like,
But like you're what? Again, someone pointed out what, a car wash?
yeah,
Okay, yeah, sure, maybe. But
a
then
car
again,
wash, and it was
but
like,
you don't need to quick pop it in neutral. You could take 5 whole seconds and look it
yeah,
up.
exactly.
But then the other person brought up the if the accelerator gets stuck.
hmm
Now, I actually want to talk about this because I learned something when I was researching that,
hmm
in that it's impossible for the accelerator to be stuck and there's no way to stop it without
Right.
putting it in neutral, because it is literally programmed that if you press the gas and the brake at the same time, it takes a screenshot. No, if you press the gas and the brake at the same
It's
time,
just like if you touch here at if you touch your temple and your taint, you screenshot your soul.
sir, this is rated PG.
So
It
was
is
that.
not, but
Yeah, it was.
um, but anyway, um, but seriously, like when you press the gas and the brake, it'll choose the brake. It
Yeah,
is programmed.
exactly.
It is programmed to brake,
Yeah,
and as
it
long
like
as you're
that is one of
holding
the
the
few
brake,
safety
it will.
features.
Yeah, exactly. So like,
Like,
I can't. Can you even think of another reason you would need neutral? I can't like need neutral quickly,
no. And the thing
because
is, the
like
only things I could even think you'd need neutral for outside of literally in a car wash
towing.
is, yeah, but
But
if
even then,
you're,
don't they have a tow mode?
but even further, if the car is broken down, what's going to make you think that you can access the screen when it's all powered by electricity?
This is true. That actually brings up a good counterpoint.
Like, it's just like, oh, well, we should have a neutral because it's a
But
car.
that could be again something where, because I don't know too much about what Tesla can control remotely on the car. That could be something where even when it's dead, they can pop it into neutral.
Yeah, they might be able to
There's
do that.
probably a way. I haven't researched that, but that
I
is a
mean,
good point.
I've seen people saying what Tesla actually can control with. I think you saw the post too. Is someone talking about someone had to repo a Tesla.
Oh, about how about
They
making the Tesla
literally,
drive itself back.
yeah, they literally took the car, like Tesla remotely turned the car on, pulled it out of the spot, and moved it over to the tow truck.
Yep.
Like
See,
that's impressive, but
I
also
can't. I cannot wait for the country song about the Cybertruck leaving him.
I've literally started writing it.
My dude, you know what? Honestly, more power to you. Um,
It makes
but
sense.
is the so the one thing that I saw is that is the whole shifter on the screen, yeah?
Yes.
But again, the is there anything like how hard is it to access?
Like, I mean, if they're being smart, it would be simple to access, but it looks like you literally have to go into like a drop down menu to do it.
Huh. So the only thing I can see that being an issue is if you need to quickly reverse
Right.
or put in park.
Like
But
it
and
really seems
so
like it
the
kind of,
other issue that comes up with me, touch screens can go bad.
yeah, as I'm aware of from me breaking my old computer touchscreen.
True. So like,
R.I.P. freshman year.
bro, right? Um, so does that mean that if you break your screen, you're screwed?
Pretty much, if it actually doesn't work as a touchscreen anymore, you're gonna have to have it brought and like completely replaced. Like if it's
I
something
mean,
just as minor as literally the screen, they could probably do that pretty easily. But God forbid it's anything more than that. Like if it's actually the touch sensor, you're gonna have to completely replace it, and it's gonna
right.
be
And
multi-thousand-dollar repair.
right. And this is the one reason that I'm personally hesitant to want an EV now.
Hmm.
I would want to wait until these things are solved and they figure out a way to handle them because I don't want to be the guinea pig for something like that.
Exactly.
Now, granted, a lot of the people who are in the budgets to be buying these cars, time isn't as much of a commodity for them.
Right.
It's more of an inconvenience, and they give you a loaner while they fix it. But like, I wouldn't want to, I wouldn't want to be the one testing that out
Exactly. Like
on
it's
the market, like not as a beta test.
right. Like beta testing a car is not ideal in the sense of just if
Well,
something
I
goes
mean,
wrong, you're going to have to deal
to
with
be
all of the
fair,
issues regardless.
right. That's basically like if the consumer were driving the test mules that you see driving down the street.
Right, right.
And especially when you're dealing with new with things that aren't cosmetics, that's when that can be an issue. Just like it can be an issue for when they're testing the mules.
Exactly. And
Like,
then there's, I mean, the thing that ends up kind of an issue in my mind, Tesla obviously has a few different issues that come up, not just with, if parts fall off,
right.
but in the sense of they'd been saying for months and months and months they're going to have full autonomous driving, and then recently just like, no, we're not going to do it. We're going to take that statement back because we just aren't going to do it. And it came out because
Yeah.
literally they couldn't do it.
But I'm also very much not for Tesla
Yeah,
in general.
obviously.
I'm
Yeah,
for the tech, not for how they run it.
exactly.
But so on that note, let's move on to let's talk about first the Hyundai Staria before we
Hmm.
actually go on to because I want to get all the EV stuff out of the way
Right.
first. Um,
Sense.
so we have the Staria and we still have the iX. So first, let's actually talk about the Staria because this looks really cool. I'm going to share the screen just for everyone to be able to see this
So
because
my first
this this is how I want a futuristic car or van to look like.
my first thought seeing it was it slightly reminded me of the Dustbuster vans,
Yes, exactly. And that's
and
it brings back a
those were
little bit of that
futuristic back
nostalgia.
then.
Yeah, it brings back a little bit of the nostalgia, but it also brings in elements of it, like you just said, something that was ahead of its time.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
styling of those vans, what that's
Like they still
why,
stand out.
yeah, and like they I mean, you could tell they're old, but the styling didn't age nearly as poorly as a lot of other cars from the era did.
Right. Exactly. Like you
Like all
can,
the boxy and slightly bubbly sedans, like
but I mean, I love on the Starry, especially the one you have on screen,
mm-hmm,
the dark one with the like dark pewter accents.
mm-hmm,
They made the pewter accents not overpowering,
right,
but like say you look at the wheels, you can see exactly that it really makes a massive difference
right.
in terms of
And like
design.
I will say the one thing is the back looks a little bit Escalade
Yeah, that was my
light.
first thought. The rear
Um
taillights are
so
massive.
I I like this better in the darker color, but I'm not
Right,
a fan of
exactly.
silver. Um
Yeah, me neither, says the guy with the
the,
silver car.
bro, you're right. This honestly, it's styled futuristically but
They,
without being overdone.
yeah. And
And
it seems like they've been nailing the non-overdone styling recently because they
I
had
honestly
the
I like this more without because this first picture had clear lights. I actually
yeah.
like it more with the reds.
Yeah, it makes it look more production ready.
It does.
Like it
And
makes it look a little bit cheaper, but you know what?
and
It's
I
not
like
a
that
problem.
the the body lines for the body lines in general, but especially for the windows, are simple.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it still has a sliding door.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, it definitely does. You can see it
let's
on the
see.
rear window.
True, right? You could.
But
I was gonna say I was going off the handles alone, but
yeah,
like this, it just looks really good. This is the shape of a dustbuster,
exactly.
except
And
it
it's
doesn't go as flat. It goes flatter in the middle here.
yeah,
But
like the wheels are beautiful.
so
I don't know if you saw the
hear me out here. This is the
mm-hmm,
one thing that I think is weird. Escalade,
mm-hmm.
transit van,
Yeah. The
duster van.
combination's a little odd.
It works. It
Yeah.
flows together. And I like that the lines aren't super complicated like a lot of new cars are, even though I'm not particularly biased against those.
Right.
Um,
I don't know if you'd seen I mean the
that just
the
looks
first
so
thing
good.
I'd seen that showed the kind of design that Hyundai was really moving towards.
Right.
They made a concept car, I think it was like about half a year ago,
Right.
and it was so subtle and so smooth.
Are those seats are so cool. Sorry.
Yeah.
And it has a panoramic roof, which I'm also a fan of. Holy seating.
Yeah.
This is so what's interesting is that it's a minivan, but you can get seating arrangements that are more reminiscent of an actual passenger van.
Yeah.
Because I mean, 279 or 11.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. Because I guess it's meant to also be able to be a utility van.
It's modular.
That is
But
so funky.
but look up, this is the car that I think really showed exactly how we knew Hyundai was onto something with electric. Look up the Hyundai Prophecy. It is one of the prettiest modern concept cars.
Whoa.
The
I might
rear
have to
looks like
agree.
an old Porsche. The front end completely different than everything else. But the rear end looks like a classic Porsche a little bit.
It looks like it's reminiscent of the new Sonata.
Well, this actually came out right before the new Sonata, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
But
Those
it's just a
wheels are
simple design.
gigantic.
Yeah, but it's very much just a simple design.
This screams Porsche from the side. Actually, it almost screams RS7
Yeah,
in the back.
it's like it would be about the same size as probably
And I like
the Sonata.
the doors that you're used to being able to see on the new Continentals.
Mm-hmm. The full suicide doors.
That is such an interesting cabin.
Mm-hmm. Like
It's
that is all I can
this
think
looks
of.
so Porsche. When you look at it at the side, it looks Audi.
Exactly. From the
When you look
rear
at it at
three
the
corners,
front,
it looks like a Porsche.
it looks like Brian's Fiat from the front.
Yeah. They managed to combine a ton of different design elements into this. And yes, it is a joystick to drive it.
Yeah, I like that.
It's not
That would
realistic.
not fly in America.
Yeah. It
That
doesn't
would
even
not.
have like gas and brake pedal. It's just joystick.
Are you
But
playing Flight Simulator? Or are you driving to work?
yes.
Understandable. But I'm excited for this van because one, this tackles what I brought up the last episode about we need an electric van. Here we go.
Exactly. Yeah.
And this is a
Hyundai
damn
did
good looking
exactly
one where
that.
they didn't overdo it.
Yeah. Like we've got enough hybrid vans currently. The new Sienna is hybrid only.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going
Pacifica
to
is
see this in
hybrid.
America, which is unfortunate. But
Give it time, we might still see it.
what we're seeing here is going to go into production nearly
Exactly.
as is, which I'm excited to just see these on the road in general, even if I'm seeing a picture of it somewhere.
Yeah, just like
But
the fact they're willing to make something that looks so simple, but it's actually really elegant. The
right,
fact they're even able to get away with that is impressive.
very true. Yeah. And speaking of the opposite of that, let's look at the iX.
Oh boy.
So I don't hate it until I have to look at it because it's electric. Why do they need the oversized grill?
Okay, I'm with you on that. I don't understand it, but outside the grill, I actually have no problem with that
Yeah,
car.
I have no problem with it. It reminds me almost too much of a 2018 GMC Terrain near the rear
Yeah.
of the car. This
It's like a
this is
little bit more aggressive.
this is what I was
sloping.
talking about in the Staria that I'm glad it didn't have. It's this overcomplicated stuff with the windows.
Yeah, it doesn't have the chink upwards to the rear with a
Right.
fake
Like
the
here.
invisible
So
seat
this the
cover.
grill is just big.
The grill makes no sense to me. Make
It's
it a little
the
smaller.
front sits so high. I feel like
Yeah,
the front should slant a little bit more.
and
It's
yeah,
it doesn't look terrible otherwise. From the
yeah, it
back,
doesn't look that
it
bad.
looks like they took the bottom half of a BMW and the top half of a GMC
Yeah,
and then threw a
and
mini Clubman from 2015 in here.
but then they're even further. They announced they're doing the i4, and it's a
Like from the
nicer
side,
big
this
thing.
looks okay.
Yeah, no, side profile, it's
I
fine.
just
It's
don't
just
like
like the new
this,
M3.
but
It's just like the new M3 and M4.
right.
From
I'm not
most
gonna redo
angles,
that.
they look good.
But
The
I will
front or something.
say this makes me
Yeah,
happy.
500 horsepower and 300-mile range.
Like that's pretty good. Like this is reasonable for a lot of people too.
Like, yes, I get it. It's $85,000, but
But
like,
again, when you're
it's a
talking
BMW.
when
You
you're
expect
talking
it going in.
ICE BMWs at that
Exactly.
type
It's the
of
same.
power,
It's in the same ballpark as
exactly,
like an X5 with a lot of options. But
exactly.
right there, you see the i4 that it's talking about?
What? Oh yeah,
The
I did.
i4.
I didn't look too much into it yet, but yes.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing.
Which again, my only complaint is we do not need more kidney growth. We do not need more kidney.
Those aren't kidneys at this point, they're lungs.
My friend, the lung grill.
But like it's pretty except for the front end. They managed to somehow
Mhm.
screw up the front end that badly.
I will say though, you know what I see from this angle?
Hmm.
C300 from here back.
Yes. But the power figures are impressive on that at least. It's
Yes. Oh yeah.
530 horsepower
I'm not
all-wheel drive.
doubting that part.
I
I'm
know.
I'm excited to see these.
Yeah.
I'm just not excited to see the front.
Yeah, I'm excited to
I'm
see them
excited to
from
watch
every
it
other
fly
angle.
past me so I can see the back of it.
I don't want to see it in my rear view too long.
Yes. But with that kind of power, you don't have to worry about that because you won't.
Exactly. It's 530 horsepower and all-wheel drive.
Right.
And instant power.
Oh,
Like-
Car and Driver calls it flagship. All right. That's a good way to end that. And the last EV I want to talk about real quick is the Wrangler Magneto EV.
Yep.
It's about time that they made a electric off-roader. My only thing is battery. How is that gonna happen?
So, Jeep actually, within the past day and a half,
Mm-hmm.
did address that.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. So, I don't see it working. They said they're going to set up on different off-road trails charging stations.
Uh-huh. That's a little
They're doing 12. That's it.
You know what?
They're doing 12 charging stations for all the off-roading areas in the entire country.
I feel like that our conversation on the Wrangler EV
is over.
Should be left at that. And we'll let everyone dwell on that one.
Literally the only saving grace is that they still went with a manual in it.
Which, I mean, fair, but at the same time,
who cares though?
Everything else.
Yeah, they kind of ruined it just because of the charging. It's also gonna weigh like 5,000 pounds as a result. Like, you took a two-door off-roader, made it weigh more than a Grand Cherokee.
Right. Yeah, that's
and then ruined its charging.
Yeah, let's drop that one at that.
End it on that for that.
The last thing regarding EVs. So let's talk about let's each pick what we're most looking forward to in terms of an EV that's coming out soon. I'll let you go first.
So, as I briefly showed you, I recently wrote about this car. I had no idea about it until then. There's a Canadian company called Daymak, which has decided to make an electric car. Technically, it's a three-wheeler, but they have a car called the Spiritus in the works right now. That there's two different trim options. They call it Deluxe and Ultimate. The Deluxe is $19,000. The Ultimate is $150,000. They look identical, I should add.
Right.
but the deluxe has a range of like 150 miles on a charge with the top speed of 90,
Hmm.
but and 0 to 60 in like 7 seconds. But the ultimate, 1.9 seconds 0 to 60 in a car the size pretty much of a Miata.
My friend, that's just fast.
It's actually a very impressive car if they're able to build it, but
Hmm.
I have a terrible feeling it's going to end up like Elio, where it's people give him the money and just kind of fucks off with it.
Yeah, I could see that being the case. So for me, I am looking forward to the Volkswagen ID Buzz
Yes,
because if there's any vehicle that I think makes the most sense to bring back as an EV, it's a hippie van.
exactly. The thing that was
It
literally
looks
designed
good.
for
It
peace
looks
and like
it's
health.
it's another one of those futuristic vans that isn't overly complex in terms of body
Yeah.
language. And in fact, here, let me share
But
this.
meanwhile, I found the most complex thing in the world.
Let's see. Hang
The Daymac. So it's got scissor doors.
on.
Scissor doors, all-wheel drive, wireless charging,
Hmm.
and a KERS system for the brakes. But
That's
but then they make shit like this instead.
my
Like, have you
friend, are
ever
we
wanted
going
to
rocket
drive a
leaguing?
totem pole?
Are we going rocket leaguing?
Have you ever wanted to drive a totem pole? Now you can.
My friend, I want to drive a ladder.
It literally looks like a lamp on wheels.
But this van, this is beautiful.
Oh, I love the ID Buzz.
And this is again back to they didn't overdo it with the
Yeah.
styling.
And even more, I mean, it's
They picked
actually
a great
tested
color
on the
to
road
debut
already.
this with too.
Been tested on the road already. They drove them around all of California.
Hmm.
Like, it makes so much sense.
As they say, finally a new microbus. A new
Yes,
microbus indeed.
that's all we need to say about that.
Yeah. There isn't too much on the specs, but I don't need there to be too much on the specs yet.
Exactly. Like, you know what? Something like that, give it a range of like 200 miles and maybe
Mhm.
150 horsepower. It doesn't need to be fast. It's not designed to be quick.
Exactly.
Like, I
So,
mean, the old bus was 36 horsepower.
speaking of not designed to be quick, let's go about something that is designed to be quick, but they're changing that
Yeah.
in certain aspects, and that is Dodge. With the Chargers and Challengers, they're finally coming up with a way to try to stop the fact that they have really terrible security with their keys.
Yeah.
So,
So,
go ahead.
for those that don't know, the Hellcat models, Demon models, everything like that have two keys. At this point, that's common knowledge. The black key is 500 horsepower, red key is 700 and plus. They did have valet mode that gave them a top speed of 30 miles an hour, but you could still have 700 horsepower and do that. And people pretty much went full Ferris Bueller with it and were doing burnouts and launches and everything like that, only to 30 miles an hour and causing massive damage to the transmission, engines, and obviously it's not their own property.
And the other big thing is that they were having issues with theft.
Yeah, shocking.
Something with the way that the keys signal worked is it was super, super easy to replicate it, copy it, use it, and steal the car.
Tends to
So,
happen when you're using technology from Italy on a platform that's from Germany from 1995.
correct. So, what they did was now they have a new security feature where once you start the car, you have to put in a 4-digit code, almost like unlocking your phone. And if you can't put in the correct code, your car will never go faster than idle speed. You literally cannot drive it.
Yeah. So it
You
literally
get
gives,
3 horsepower.
yeah,
And it is a great way to curb the theft because then they need that key. It basically is it's two-factor authentication for your car,
yeah, which makes a lot
essentially.
of sense, honestly.
Yes, and it's a really good way to finally address the issue that they made with that. Um,
Like
there isn't
there
really a
are,
ton to say on that. This is just something that's worth pointing out because this was a major flaw that they went a long time not really acknowledging. And now they finally acknowledged it in a really clever way.
Like, imagine if companies had been doing something like that if it had been possible before. I mean, one of the most stolen cars ever was the Integra.
Mhm.
Imagine if somehow back when the Integra was around, they'd been able to implement a system like that.
Mhm.
Like, theft would have been dramatically lower unless
For
someone
sure.
somehow was able to jailbreak through it.
Right.
Now I
And I
feel
mean,
like, though,
inevitably you're going to get that, but you're
yeah,
making them work a hell of a lot harder.
I was about to say, I wonder how quickly, since Tesla is so confident in their coding that you can't hack it, I wonder how quickly it's going to be until someone starts trying to hack through the authentication in Dodge.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, but we'll see. So, that being said, again, there isn't really much else to say on that. That's just something that's worth bringing up because that's cool, new, and they're finally doing something right.
Exactly.
Um, so the last two little bits that we have, this is actually shaping up to be a little bit shorter of an episode, which is kind of okay because our episodes tend to be pretty long.
Yeah,
Um,
we haven't been dicking around that much.
so let's come up with one factory option that we wish existed that's normal, and then one that's absolutely ridiculous.
Okay.
So for a
I feel like you have
normal
one ready
factory
already.
option, I think run flats should be standard. When I say factory option, I guess I'm talking about like options that can be part of.
Right.
I think that that's something that should be A, offered more, and B, actually be a standard thing.
Hmm.
Because there are so many instances where your tire goes flat and then you're either forced to
You're just
stop at a
screwed.
bad place or shred the tire,
Yeah.
especially on a freeway. If you have a run flat, it gives you plenty of time to get to the side, gives you plenty of time to, or drive the 10 miles to
Exactly.
the shop. It would eliminate so much danger of having a tire go flat on you, especially in a busy area or high speed area or a dark area at night. Um, now, here, I'll let you go because I got to think of a crazy one.
So this I think would be a very cool idea. Obviously, it's kind of pointless,
Right.
um, but it's still, something I think should come standard, and it already exists in a lot of vehicles. I think on anything that's got some type of sporting intention should have active exhaust. So think in terms of Jaguar literally has a button you press and it opens the valves and
Mm-hmm.
it stays open regardless if you're in comfort sport, whatever you're
Mm-hmm.
in, and you can do that. You can't do that on any AMG other than like the 63 and up levels.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that on most cars in BMW's lineup other than the M models. You can't do it on a lot of things. And I know it's, again, kind of a pointless thing. Most people wouldn't care too much about it, but it's just that extra
Right.
little
Especially for
bonus to it.
car people who have money and want their dailies to still be fun.
Exactly. Especially with people saying now that, like, it might be a little more strict exhaust regulation. Having it be standard that you can pretty much completely bypass the muffler is a fun option.
Yeah, for sure.
I know it would be for me at least.
Yeah. Well, cargo room. Um, now, my crazy one: driver entertainment system.
No.
I think that we need a heads-up display that allows you to play video games while driving, while still being able to look ahead and see what's going on in front of you.
It's
You
called
better be
Tesla.
driving like a maniac in GTA while driving normally in rush hour traffic.
It's called Tesla.
Yeah, the difference is you got your foot on the pedal and your hands on the wheel while you're doing it. You
There.
got buttons on your steering wheel that act as your controller. How about that?
That'd be pretty interesting, actually.
It'd be interesting
It'd be
until
interesting, and I
someone
could.
wrecks 14 seconds later.
I was about to say, like, imagine you're trying to steer your car, but you're also using the joysticks. Your brain just kind of short circuits what you're actually doing.
And then you lose the race because you drove off the side in Mario Kart, and then you also lose in life because you drove off the side of the bridge.
Yeah, in Mario Kart.
Wait, how did I get my Tesla on Rainbow Road?
Damn, Lakitu ain't really doing much if he can't lift it with a freaking fishing line.
Yo, you right. Now let's hear your crazy one.
So, the crazy one I think would be a cool option. I think that, and I think they've done it in like, I think it was Inspector Gadget even.
Right.
Have a second steering wheel in the car. Have
Where?
it actually control a little bit, but not enough to make like so one person could be turning this way and the other go the other way, and the car rips in half. Have it be like,
Honestly, no. So hear me out. That, but stop right there, and you can do that.
congrats, you turned your car into two motorcycles.
Congrats, we'll turn it into one motorcycle.
No, but this is what makes it even weirder. Just the steering wheel. You don't have pedals. You don't have turn signals. It's just the steering wheel. So congrats. If
I
the
think
person is weaving through traffic at 100 miles an hour and you're not comfortable, all you can do is like turn the wheel a little bit and make it
all
more
you can do is
complicated.
put everyone out of their misery.
Like have it be the same kind of thing as rear wheel steering. Congrats. The passenger controls the rear wheels.
Wait, hear me out. The steering wheel on the left and the right. The left one controls the left wheel. The right one controls the right wheel.
The left one controls the right controls the left.
The left one controls acceleration. The right one controls braking, and the pedals are for steering.
The left controls the right rear wheel, but only for braking, and the passenger wheel controls everything else, but no acceleration. And
The
it's
left, the
in the
left,
back seat controls the
the left
gas.
controls the production, and the right controls the means.
No, think of it this way: like literally, you got two steering wheels. You got driver and passenger.
Mhm.
The driver controls the front wheels, the passenger controls the rear, but you got in the back seats where the pedals are. The gearbox is in the trunk, so
It
you have
takes
to have someone.
backseat
Yep.
driving to a whole nother level.
But you've got to have someone like old school station wagon style, and that's where the
Hang on,
gearbox is.
I'm gonna pull something up because you know what that's gonna turn into.
Oh no!
It's
Fake
gonna turn
taxi.
into a very particular video.
Fake taxi.
No, yes, it's gonna turn into this,
Step digger, what are you doing?
sir. Sir, that is cursed. It's gonna turn into this.
I've seen an animated one of it already. You can't curse me
It's gonna
anymore.
turn into the second part of this
Exactly.
clip.
You know what
This.
I hate though?
Hang on.
You know what I hate about
This. This is what happens when we get what you described.
that? I'm sorry, isn't it playing like Naruto music in the video?
No, it's playing shitty flute.
No, the thing I
I
hate so
unmuted it
much.
and immediately went deaf.
But the thing I hate so much is in that video,
Mm-hmm.
that's an old BMW shifter going all the way up, and they put like a 2008 5 Series gearbox, the head on it, and it just looks so awful and floppy.
That's what they called me.
It's just like, cool, you don't have gears, do you?
Correct.
Like you're just kind of throwing it around. There is no clutch pedal, nothing.
Correct.
Mm.
So, what car have you seen in real life that you would want to see a Hot Wheels of?
So this one's actually very easy. I actually saw it again today.
Mhm.
If you know the YouTuber Steve's POV, then you might understand it. He has a Liberty Walk Ferrari 458
Okay.
done up with this insane wrap,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's currently got FI exhaust, and the front wheels don't match color-wise to the rear, but they're the same exact model wheels. I feel like that would be a really cool Hot Wheels.
I can agree to that. In terms of a supercar, I want to see back at Nemacolin when we saw Alex Choi's Lamborghini. I would like to see that.
He's changed it like 7 times since then, by the way.
Oh, I know. Like
Yeah.
the exoskeleton.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, But realistically, and this is gonna be a really weird one. I want to see the Moe's Safari car.
How did I know you were gonna say that? Congrats.
That would
You've
be
got a
so
Hot
cool.
Wheels. You've got a Hot Wheels the size of your desk.
Yeah, it's 1/64 scale, but it's actually the size of a real car.
I was about to say 1/64th scale, it's a go-kart at that point. Like you can still fit a motor.
It's still made of steel. It still it has BB
It's just
guns
got
in the
2
back,
horsepower now.
as
No,
opposed to the normal 80.
yeah. No,
I don't
if I was,
I don't even
I
know
don't
the specs of that
It
thing.
was a V8 of some sort, I think.
Yeah, the thing also weighed 18 million tons.
But in terms of a non-supercar that I think would be a cool one to see,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to include Vanderhall because they're a whole different thing.
Right.
But I think realistically would be really cool to see is a AutoZam AZ1 Hot Wheels.
I could agree with that.
I
And
feel
in
like
the
they
same
probably
vein,
have
I would
it.
like to see a Beat or a
Yeah, any K
Cappuccino
car. Like the only one
or
I've
a
seen them
Sarah
do, the only K car I've seen them do a Hot Wheels of is the City
City.
Turbo.
I would also really like to see luxury Japanese land yachts. I would love to
Yes,
see a SEMA or
I'd
a
love to see a
Crown
Century.
Majesta or Century.
Yeah,
Um, I would also like to see.
Delica. Thought so. I did
You
actually
knew
see
that's where
its
I was
little
about to
brother
go.
today, though.
Which one's the little brother?
Someone showed up at Cars and Coffee in a Mitsubishi RVR,
Oh, oh,
and no one knew what it was.
that sounds about right, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's
I
not surprising.
yeah.
You know what car I really don't want to see as a Hot Wheels though?
Hmm.
The new M3 and M4.
It's going to be the size of your desk, but 3/4 of the desk is a grill.
Yeah. Like I feel like
It's
the best
actually
option for
just
that.
going to be a George Foreman in a Hot Wheels package.
No, it's literally gonna just be sponsored by Dyson and it's a vacuum now.
Yeah, because it sucks.
Yeah, exactly. Sneef sneef.
Nice. So on that note, I think that kind of wraps up our episode.
Yeah.
If y'all want to keep watching our shit, keep watching our shit.
And if not, fuck you.
If you don't, I'm gonna find you, and I'm gonna tell you that you're in a coma. This is the only way we can communicate with you. We love you, and we're pulling the plug.
And I'm a fuck your wife. That's right. We'll fuck her.
Big bottles. Is that before or after the challenge pissing?
After.
Wrong. During.
Yes. If you're able to shoot her 6 feet straight into the air with your piss while you're fucking her.
Same.
Hey, some people are into it. I don't know.
God. Zoom, everybody.